Hi everyone, my name is Anwara Kumari and welcome to my YouTube channel. Last week I started my YouTube channel and I'm really humbled by all the love and support that you all have been giving me. So today is my first video for the channel and I'm going to talk about my accessibility journey. So like what kind of developer I was before I really knew anything about accessibility, the point when I came to know about accessibility and how it changed my perspective towards looking at things and coding. Towards the end of the video, I will also share with you some of the resources which I find very useful, and you could also use them if you are trying to explore more about accessibility, and hopefully it will help you too. So let's get started. I started my career as software engineer in October 2013 and soon I was assigned a front-end developer role in one of the projects. It was a very nice project and we were doing lots of good things, but whenever I was coding, the one thing which I never knew about was accessibility. So I never read it in college in any curriculum. I never got to know about it in any of the trainings, and I'm not sure if anyone in the team also mentioned anything about it. So I remember a very nice feature which we implemented in our product, which was respecting the color schemes of users. So we had multiple color schemes for our website and there was also a grayscale. I was really fascinated by it, but at that point in time I did not know that it was one of the accessibility features. So we were doing very nice things, but personally as a developer, I do not think that I was really doing things the right way, specifically from accessibility perspective, because I do recall that whenever I had to create some icons, like if I have some buttons which were just icons, I might just use span or div and I would test it just with mouse. I never really bothered to test it with keyboard or any other assistive technologies. So I thought I was doing great. I was really working on some cool features, cool things. Fast forward to year 2019 where I joined Twitter and then I came across a term called GAAD or GAD or Global Accessibility Awareness Day. This day is celebrated every year to get everyone talking and thinking and learning about accessibility, about digital access and inclusion, about the people who are disabled. There are lots of events which get carried out during this period. So I came across one of the events where they were talking about 101 of accessibility and I wanted to join it. So I joined the session and they were giving a very high level overview of accessibility, and that was like, when reality hits you kind of moment for me. So my reaction was I was really very much surprised that this is such an important thing and I have never really known about it till this point in time. And also I was feeling guilty. I was really feeling guilty. It was like, all your career decisions are like flashing in front of you. So all my bad coding practices and all the things which I might have made inaccessible. So those things, they started coming in front of me and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I have like made so many inaccessible things in the past and this is just not acceptable. How? So it was a very bizarre feeling, but I decided to learn more about it. So I thought that okay, now I know about something. I have a starting point, and I decided to explore more about it. So I came across one of the resources called a11y-101.com. So it gives a very high level overview of accessibility and it is targeted towards the beginners, but it really does what it says. So I read everything here. So what it is about, why should I care about accessibility, and they had this very nice example. It says that it's a very nice example where previously the pavements along the streets, they were not lower down to the street level when they ended, and that's why whenever the nannies who were carrying the babies, they would use to get down from the pavement, babies would start crying because of the height of the pavement and the abrupt ending. Now someone came up with the idea of lowering the pavement to the street level at the junctions, and due to this, babies were no longer crying. And but did it just benefit those nannies who were carrying the babies? No, it benefited a lot broader people. So it benefited people who were using wheelchairs, it benefited elderly people, the people who were using the wheeled walkers, the cyclists, so everyone. So this is an example which shows that whatever we create, it always benefits a broader section of people. So if we also see an example of a closed caption, so the videos having closed captions is an accessibility feature. So if someone cannot hear, they can still read the closed captions and understand that what is going on in that video. But does it just benefit the deaf people? No, it benefits a lots of people. So, and also if someone is watching it in a different language, so let's say I'm watching a movie which is in French, I don't know French, but still, if there are closed captions available for it in a language which I understand, which is English, so I can still understand what is going on in that video. So it helps a broader group of people, and that's why every feature which is made with accessibility in mind ends up benefiting a lots of people. So I had a very nice learning out of it, and then I started exploring a lots of stuff. So I also took a course on Pluralsight, which was named Web Accessibility Getting Started. It was a 1.5 hour course, but it really gave me the boost and what I wanted to know. The author does a very nice job at explaining different ways in which we can design, code, and test with accessibility in mind. So when I started learning about accessibility, I also started talking to people about it. I would ask my colleagues and my friends, did they know about accessibility? Answers which I got to know were, some people would say that, yes, I think accessibility is for blind people. Some others would say that I know it is very complex and we normally do it at the end of the sprint. Some others also told that, yeah, accessibility is generally not a requirement for all the projects. It's only when you have a certain user base. So like, for example, our project, this is too complex. I'm not sure if the blind people will be using this anyways. So we do not need to think about accessibility. So let me tell you, these all were myths, right? So I realized that not much people know really about accessibility, and that's why they have certain types of misconceptions about it. So I decided to talk about it. I messaged some of the meetups in Pune, India, and told them that, hey, I have a topic, accessibility, and I want to talk about introduction to accessibility because I feel that not much developers in India know a lot about accessibility. One of the meetups called React.js and Friends accepted my talk. I really want to thank the host Vipul who accepted my talk. So I went there on 23rd of November and I talked about introduction to accessibility. I was scared how it will be perceived, but after chatting with the audience, I got to know that they were very happy and willing to explore more about accessibility. And some of the feedbacks included that, hey, it's good that you talked about it. I never knew that accessibility was so important. And some other people, they also told that, hey, we always thought that it was something complex and there are certain dedicated developers for it. We never knew that it's job of every one of us to do this. And then I realized that there is not much awareness about accessibility, and if we start to talk a lot about accessibility, then maybe we get more developers, designers, testers, and everyone else on board. So I also wrote a small blog post called Increasing awareness serves the best chance to achieve accessibility for all. So that was my starting point, and then I kept on talking about accessibility on multiple topics in accessibility in various meetups and conferences all around the world. Most of my talks are also available for public, and I have created an YouTube playlist just with my tech talks, so I will put a link somewhere below in the description. Now that I have talked about my journey with accessibility, I would like to take some moment to talk about accessibility and some of the resources which could be useful in exploring accessibility. So accessibility means making resources and services usable by everyone, regardless of the disability. As per World Health Organization, there are around 15% of world population which live with some form of disability, and this accounts to around 1 billion people around the world. So the first resource which I want to talk about today is the Microsoft Inclusive Toolkit. So if you go to the website, they have the links where you can download the toolkit, and it's a very nice read, and you get to know a lots of information about it, which is very valuable. So I do suggest give it a read. And also all the resources which I'm going to talk about today, I will consolidate them and share with you all. So do not worry if you miss on anything. There are lots of things which I like about this toolkit, of course, but one specific thing which I would like to mention is how they say that if we use our own abilities and biases as a starting point to create something or to develop something, so we will end up with products that are designed for people of a specific gender, age, language ability, tech literacy, and physical ability. So this will exclude everyone else who does not have those similar abilities or who do not perceive the web the same way that we do. So this is a very important point. Why? Because if I go back to how I was used to previously develop when I did not know about accessibility. So I used to always use a mouse to access anything on the web, and hence when I was creating something, I was using the mouse to test things. So I never really realized that there could be people who could be using different types of things, different assistive technologies like keyboard or screen reader, switch, etc. to perform their day-to-day activities and to access the web. And since I was biased from my own experience, and I never really met someone who would be doing things in a different way, so I never realized that there could be different ways of accessing the web. So this is where our own abilities and biases can largely affect the way we perceive things and the way we code and develop and create the products. And that's why it's really important to understand everyone else's abilities and all the different ways in which a product or websites they can be used, so that we make conscious decision and we test in a conscious way, so that we do not leave anyone out and we do not exclude anyone from using that product or website or whatever you are building. So the next resource which I'm going to talk about is the official guidelines by w3.org, so or World Wide Web Consortium. So they have very nice resources and documentation on accessibility. I would really recommend to check it out, and specifically the authoring practices. Then the next resource is WebM. WebM has also a lots of articles and resources on accessibility, and I really find them very useful, so do check it out. I also came across this library called Get Stark Library, where they have a collection of accessible articles, resources, and whatnot. So this is also where you will find a large variety of resources aimed at accessibility. Then talking about the books, so this is one of the book which I always recommend, and I would say that if you have to pick just one book to learn more about accessibility, I think this might be the one, at least as per me. So I'm currently reading this book, and it's so far such an amazing read. So this is the book by Hayden Pickering called Inclusive Components, and it's really a very nice read. I'm learning a lot, and it has the code examples and all the real world examples, so I would definitely recommend this. Moving on about conferences, there is one conference by a organization called DQ. So also DQ, you will find a lots of good resources on DQ. They are an organization totally focused on accessibility. They have certain tools, linting, everything, testing tools and all on accessibility. We are using them a lot, like Axe tools and everything by DQ. They have this conference called AxeCon, which is totally focused on accessibility, and they have really quality content. And so if you want to go to any conference for accessibility, I think this would be the one. Then talking about the podcast, so allyrules.com, this is one of the podcasts which contains the stories where you can listen to the disabled people and their point of view and about web accessibility. It's very nice. It's really very nice. I would really suggest that you should go listen to this podcast and get to learn a lot from disabled people's perspective too. Then there is a meetup called Ally Talks. And in fact, they have one of the talks coming up on 15th of December. So do check it out. They have really nice talks on this meetup. Then I would like to talk about my website, explore-ally.netlify.app. So I created this while I was exploring accessibility, and I tried to put all the resources in one place. So I will also link all this in this website and share you the link of it. Then, since it's the Advent season, December, right? So I would like to talk about something called Accessible Advent, which took place in 2020. It was an initiative by Guinea, and we have all the contacts on this web page. So I would really recommend you to go take a look at this website, because this is actually a collection of all the tweets which were tweeted by the disabled people and the activists all around the world about web accessibility and also the real world accessibility. And it contains a lots of tweets, and I decided to consolidate them in one place so that the information doesn't get lost. It's a lots of good information. So I would suggest that you take a look and get to learn from their perspective. So these were some of the resources which I wanted to share with you, and I hope you find them useful. So this is all for today's video, and I will be back with more deep dive content on accessibility and other web development topics. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe, take care, and make sure that whatever you are building, build with accessibility in mind. Bye.